Miss Jane Everleigh was not, by her own admission, a woman of particularly daring character, at least not by the definitions of daring one might find in a circulating library. She neither galloped across meadows in disguise nor spied on French generals. But she did possess a particular fondness for swimming. Alas, in the fine society of Regency England, swimming, especially unaccompanied and unattended, was deemed thoroughly indecorous for a lady. A brisk walk? Acceptable. Sea bathing in Brighton under a canvas tent and with a chaperone? Perhaps. But to slip away from one's household, unobserved, and plunge one's body into a pond like a trout? Scandalous, and yet Jane did just that. In the warm months of summer, when the birds sang with idle purpose and the air sat still with sun, Jane would creep from her family's estate with a towel, a book of poetry, and a secret grin, making her way to Willowmere Pond, a shimmering, hidden basin at the edge of the Greystone estate, known for its lily pads and charming solitude. On such a day in June, Jane had just finished her swim and was arranging her damp hair into something approximating order when she heard the unmistakable crunch of carriage wheels and the whinny of a horse. Her heart lurched. She ducked behind a willow, emerging cautiously just in time to see Mr. Nathaniel Ashcombe, nephew of Lord and Lady Greystone, dismounting nearby. He spotted her immediately, her cheeks flushed, her gown slightly rumpled, and most damning of all, her hair glistening and wet beneath her bonnet. "Miss," he said, approaching with the amused reverence of one who has stumbled upon a fairy or a fugitive, "might I inquire if you have fallen in, or perhaps leapt in?" Jane's eyes widened in horror. "Please," she whispered, with more desperation than pride, "do not tell the Greystones. I shall never be allowed on their land again if they suspect." Mr. Ashcombe laughed, not cruelly, but with genuine delight. "Your secret is safe with me, Miss Everleigh. Though I must say, your defiance of decorum is as charming as it is aquatic." She blushed scarlet. He bowed and departed, but the image of her, eyes shining, hair like dripping gold, was fixed in his mind with all the permanence of poetry. 3 days later, Mr. Ashcombe penned a letter of the most respectable intentions, requesting permission to call upon Miss Everleigh. Before he could send it, however, his formidable Aunt Agnes, keeper of propriety and destroyer of youthful joy, intercepted it in a moment of suspicious curiosity. Upon reading of the pond, the wet hair, and the implied swimming, she stormed into his chamber with all the fury of a thundercloud in petticoats. "You must destroy this letter," she cried. "You cannot entangle yourself with a girl so shamefully modern, so thoroughly unladylike. She swims alone, Nathaniel, like a boy." Mr. Ashcombe looked up from his desk, calmly folded the letter, and placed it in an envelope. "I do not intend to throw it away," he said. "I intend to deliver it personally. I hope to marry her." Aunt Agnes emitted a sound not dissimilar to a wounded bird, and immediately sought out her husband. "Disinherit him," she demanded, "before he tarnishes the family name and marries a waterlogged rebel." But Lord Greystone, reading his newspaper with the relaxed air of a man long married to an alarmist, merely chuckled. "Dearest," he said mildly, "you forget, you were wearing trousers when I first saw you atop that dreadful black mare. I was scandalized, and utterly in love." Defeated by her own history, Aunt Agnes retired in muttering silence. Nathaniel did call upon Jane, who received him with all the poise she could manage despite her mortification. But her embarrassment gave way to delight when, during a walk in the gardens, he turned to her and said, "If you will have me, Miss Everleigh, I promise to install a fountain, large enough to swim in, of course, though we shall have to instruct the gardener not to gossip." Jane laughed, a pure, joyous sound that echoed across the lawn, and answered, "If I can swim in your fountain, Mr. Ashcombe, then I can certainly marry you." And so she did.